And welcome into this Talking Tuesday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are ready for a fun day here on the Miller's Edge. Now, we did have a little bit of a mix up, not mix up necessarily. I'll call it more of an audible. We're going to throw an audible at you. I know we had a couple things scheduled for today, right? We're scheduled to talk with Clint Lamb of Cover Crimson at the top of the hour. So we're looking forward to doing that. The other part to this Talking Tuesday, we were going to talk with Tony Brown today. We're going to push that tomorrow. Tony's got some stuff with his son. He's training and doing some things, and their time got ran over a little bit, which is fine because we're going to move it to tomorrow. That way, we have more time with Clint, and then we got plenty of time with Tony tomorrow. So we still will talk with Clint Lamb and Cover Crimson in about 49 minutes or so, and then we'll have Crazy Tony on here tomorrow on the Wednesday edition. So again, I told you bye week, man, we got plenty of time. So we're going to be getting a number of people on here and just hanging out and do plenty of talking, self-assessment, I guess, kind of like the guys are doing this week, and all that good stuff. We'll let it roll. Per usual, we are presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. Make sure you guys check them out if you haven't already. Try before you buy, nothing to lose. Make sure you just walk on in there. Walk-ins are welcome. You don't need an appointment, but if you'd rather be punctual, you're on a time crunch, whatever the case may be, just go to their website, goodfeet.com. You can schedule an appointment and find the nearest location to you. They are nationwide. There's 5 stores now in Alabama. They're growing extremely fast. Tuscaloosa's location is right here in Midtown Village. Make sure you guys pay them a visit. Tell them the Miller's Edge sent you. They might hook you up with something. We'll see. But again, that is a Good Feet Store. Premium arch sports designed to eliminate and alleviate all types of pain, whether it's foot pain, knee pain, back pain, hip pain, you name it. They will address it, take care of it, and take care of you and get you living your healthiest life. Again, that is the Good Feet Store. Improving the quality of people's lives 2 feet at a time. All right, since it's a Talking Tuesday, we got plenty to talk about. We mentioned some of those things yesterday around the college football world. It's kind of mayhem right now. LSU firing Brian Kelly. We already knew about the Florida job opening up. Penn State fired James Franklin. There's plenty of openings. A lot of people are wondering who's going to be taking these openings. And hell, I definitely don't know. But I'm curious, right? I mean, especially with LSU and Florida. I mean, those are 2 prominent programs in the SEC. 2 really good jobs, right? We'll see who ends up taking those spots. Chase, I was thinking in my head the other day, well, I think probably yesterday, right? I guess that counts as the other day too. As impressive as Alabama's offense has been this year under Ryan Grubb, right? Are we at all concerned that he could be a candidate for any of these jobs? I want to throw that question out there earlier, and I'm curious what you guys think about this. Again, it's a Talking Tuesday, so we're just going to talk about a number of different things. But that was one thing that I felt could maybe be a little bit of a conversation. Now, personally, and I'll dive a little bit deeper in when we have more time, right? This is just kind of that opening segment, just throwing some stuff out there, seeing what sticks. But when I look at Ryan Grubb and him being a candidate, I mean, we all know how it works. I mean, the coordinators for the good teams, the successful teams, and the guys that are obviously out there producing and they have, the receipts, right, to speak for it, they're gonna be on the radar of a lot of these athletic directors. That's typically how it works. We see it all the time. Yes, head coaches, former head coaches, and other up and coming head coaches, they definitely get a lot of attention. But a lot of times, these head coaches also stem from coordinators of great programs. I mean, you look at the likes of Dan Lanning. He's working at Georgia with Kirby. The success they had, he got his opportunities as a head coach. Really, I mean, Kirby Smart. There's another one started as a coordinator. I'm just saying this, and I know it's a little premature. Ryan Grubb's only been here a year, right? He came from Washington. They had success there. He was highly touted as an offensive coordinator before leaving to the NFL and spending a year there in Seattle to now come to Tuscaloosa. But with what Alabama's been doing offensively, I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if he's on the radar. Now, would he already be in that conversation? Personally, I think it's a little early for that. I think I said way back at the beginning of the year, I see him here probably at least 2 years, at least 2 seasons. Personally, that's just I mean, I guess anything could happen, but I feel like it'd be way too soon for him to take a job like that. Now, if you're talking about the likes of, I don't know off the top of my head, like any other openings right now, maybe smaller schools other than some like UAB, which is way too small. I mean, I would never think he would just take that. But I'm trying to think, Chase, are there any other openings that are a little bit less significant than the Penn State, Florida, LSU that I'm slipping right now that maybe he could be targeted for? But personally, I just don't even think he would do that. that wouldn't make much sense to me because if I was him, I'd probably hang out at least another year or so, and then something else big open up. I don't know. Y'all just start thinking about that because that is a conversation that I definitely wanted to talk about with all the coaching rumors and things swirling around right now, especially with this bye week going on. There's plenty of stuff to dive into. Plus, you see the title on the YouTube stream. If you haven't checked us out already, at the Miller's Edge on YouTube, it says, "Is Alabama the team to beat?" Right? Are we title favorites? And the reason I put that is I was thinking about it. I mean, again, you got the college football playoff announcements coming up soon. I think it might be next week, I believe. But anyway, we're starting to kind of get into that time of year where things are starting to, I guess, present themselves, and you're starting to see kind of who's going to be the last team standing or who's going to be able to kind of squeeze themselves into these final spots, right? And just after watching a lot of football this far this season, I mean, I just can't help but think, even after the challenges we just faced on the road at South Carolina, I told you guys, I mean, we're going to be critical, we're going to be analysts. That's what we do. But at the same time, I'm also going to consider all the other factors, meaning that, I'm not going to put too much stock into that one performance, given it was our fifth game in a 5-week stretch, hostile environment, all that good stuff, right? Beaten up, bruised up, all that good stuff. Anyway, I still believe, even with that performance, that Alabama just looks to be in that realm of one of the teams to beat that could win a national championship. That's personally my opinion. I do feel like we definitely look like a title contender, especially comparing us to other teams. Still some stuff we got to clean up and get better at, just like everybody else. But I strongly feel like the progression that we've made from week one to now clearly is about as big as an indicator as I don't know what to show that this team is continuously getting better and improving, and hopefully going to continue to hit their stride at the right point. I think I heard Jeremy Bernard say that if we were playing our best ball, we'd be in trouble. Basically saying the fact is we're not even playing our best ball. We're not even playing close to it. So that's coming from the horse's mouth. That's from him himself. These coaches, they've said it repeatedly. They were hearing players say it. They feel like there's a lot left on the table for them. And if that is the case, which I do personally agree as well, I think Bama's got a really good shot when it comes down to it when we get into the thick of it. But anyway, just a couple of things that have just popped up on my head on this Talking Tuesday. Plus, we always like to go wherever you guys like to go as well. I'm sure there's plenty of interviews and things we'll dive into. But again, 12 o'clock, top of the hour, we will have Clint Lamb joining us via the phone lines. We'll talk to him about his thoughts from last weekend's game, the big win over South Carolina, narrowly escaping Columbia. Talk to him about moving forward, his thoughts in this bye week. I was going to say going into this bye week, but we're in the bye week now, right? His thoughts during this bye week, what Bama needs to kind of get cleaned up, focus on as we get ready to face a coachless LSU team. I don't know why that's funny, but it's just kind of crazy to think about. We're literally at this point in the year, and these coaches are just gone like that, man. Crazy stuff we're dealing with in the football realm. That being said, let's go ahead and hit our first timeout. We come back, we dive into this Talking Tuesday. 205-342-9904 is the number to the phone lines. If you guys want to join in on the conversation, man, we're wide open. We're looking forward to talking with you guys about anything and everything. We're going back to like an original Talking Tuesday. It's a bye week, so we can do that. We can talk with you guys ASAP. You ain't got to wait as long. So if you guys want to, take advantage of it right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Quick timeout. We'll be right back.
Planning a tailgate in the quad before the big game? Watching with friends at home?
What's up, guys? Who we got in here? If you guys haven't, man, welcome in. Hit that like button, all that good stuff. Knock it out, get it out the way. We'll dive into this Talking Tuesday. We'll come back here shortly. Ryan, what's up? Jake, what's going on? Chief, what's up, man? Bama Girl SC, Roll Tide. Q06, what up? Dwight, did you change your name? I recognize the picture though. Dwight, what's up? Yeah, I need to watch it. I saw that you tagged us in it, but I didn't get a chance to to watch it. But I need to. I wish I would have done it before because hell, we're wide open today. Outside of Clint, I would have loved to. Well, I still can. If you guys, that's the other thing. If you have anything specific you want us to talk about or watch, let me know. I can pull it up on tape. Like I think what was it yesterday? You guys asked about the struggles up front with the offensive line. Was that one thing we were supposed to get to? If so, let me go ahead and pull that up. Lots of zeros take the money. A&M might be the team to beat. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, Chiefs. A&M, they've looked solid when I was kind of having not doubts, but I had some questions. I wanted to see a little bit more. They've answered that stuff, man. So they definitely do look like a team that could be up there, at least in the conference right now. I mean, I think I said it yesterday. I think right now you got A&M, Bama, Georgia, Ole Miss. I feel like are all kind of at the top right now. I know Vanderbilt beat Missouri. I mean, they continue to impress, and I love the story, right? But I don't have them in the same tier right now, in my opinion. I know they're playing some good ball, but personally, I don't. Number one, we already beat them. Two, I don't know if they would be able to handle the likes of those other schools either. Trying to understand if you think it's strength, speed, technique, or scheme issues. I don't understand why we can't run the ball. Yeah, I'll pull up some offensive line stuff. Failed runs. Yeah, that's what it was. Not at the present, Chris. Currently, the defense is playing better, but it's not of a championship level due to their awareness of poor tackling. Offensively, offensive line doesn't play well as a unit. Fair points, but I will say, and a few weeks ago, I definitely would have agreed with you on the defensive aspect that I still was a little. What's the best way to put it, man? It's not like I wasn't like all the way bought into them, being at the standard we needed them to, but it was more so just like I still was like, man, I wasn't fully. I guess you could put it like that. I don't know if I was fully locked in on them playing at that level that they're playing at a few weeks ago, even though they're doing better stuff. I don't know if I was still ready to say, like, yeah, I think they're championship ready. However, I mean, I'll say this, man. I mean, while they might not be perfect, while I definitely disagree with Reagan when he said they're on the same level as the defense I played with, and that's not an ego thing or a bias thing. It's just me being completely honest. I would not put them there. I don't think anybody would. But the fact that they do a good job of holding strong, holding strong when it matters in critical moments, forcing turnovers, and limiting points. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. I mean, while it might not be perfect, I think I think if you needed them to come up for you in those big moments, they probably still would. I guess just the interesting thing is kind of my point yesterday. Like when we do face a team that I feel like is, like Missouri defense challenged us, but their offense struggled. South Carolina's defense challenged us, but their offense struggled. When we do face a team like that, that is more complete. How does that look, right? Because personally, I feel like if Missouri had a better offense, South Carolina had a better offense, those two games could have been losses for us. That's just my honest opinion. Let me see if I can pull up some of these. Let me think. Failed runs. I don't know if that Let me see if that South Carolina game is on here. Yeah, it is. So we need Alabama offense versus South Carolina, though. Let me see if that's on here. Oh wait, yeah, I just saw it. South Carolina defense. Oh wait, no, hold on. Wait, please tell me it's on here. Let's see.
Construction located in the heart of.
Give me a good old I formation with Daniel Hill. Yeah, but if you don't have the guys up front, though, that's the only thing, Chief. You still got to get that movement up front, man. I guess I'm used to how well y'all kept things bought up when you played. Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I mean, to be fair, we had moments. I mean, hell, Clemson put up like 400 yards on us in that national championship game in 2015. They lit us up in the secondary. If you really look at it, Bama holding teams 24 points or less. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I mean, those stats and facts are important. And welcome back into this Talking Tuesday edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Support Experts. All right, let's start with this topic. I know we mentioned the coaching stuff. We'll dive into that here in a minute, but I want to talk about this because it is a title on the stream over on YouTube again at the Miller's Edge. Come check us out, hang out with us, all that good stuff. Chase, are we the team to beat? Are we national championship favorites? I'll give my thoughts. I know there's number one, there's people that had us as the favorites to win it going into the year. Week one happened. It was a frenzy. Everybody started saying, "Oh man, what happened to Bama? They're cooked." Trying to run out the coaching staff, all that good stuff. But then since then, people have been slowly but surely hopping back on the Bama wagon, right? People have been starting to buy back in, right? It was almost like at the stock market. I don't know if you guys are, hip on that, but there was a big sell off after week one, and people started buying back in, buying back in, buy back in. And right now, Bama stock is riding pretty high, right? Now, this is my thing. I know I titled this. I don't necessarily mean like I'm saying we're a favorite. It's just a question I'm throwing out there. I wouldn't say we're necessarily a favorite to win it all right now. I still think there are some things that we need to improve on, that we need to solidify for us to confidently, be at that point. Even with that being said, I don't care if you're a favorite, if a lot of people think this, regardless, you still got to go out there and play the games. I mean, anybody can lose. We all know that. But let's break it down. I'm gonna bring you in this, Chase. Hopefully, you finish that spaghetti you had going. Because I want to get your opinion on this. Because I look at it like this. Let's just break it down surface level right at first. Let's look at it from the three different phases. And I'm sure there's different aspects that we could really talk about. But initially, right? Let's just talk about the offense, the defense, and the special teams. Look at the three phases of the game and just see kind of how we're feeling about them and where we stack up against the rest. Now, I'm not just going to just look at the numbers. I mean, we could try to pull those up if we need to, but let's start with the offense. You got a red hot quarterback, right? Obviously struggled a little bit against South Carolina. It happens. Nobody's, freaking out about that. It is what it is. But still, he made some damn good throws, and when it mattered most, he led them down on those last couple of drives, and we were able to score points and win the football game. But you got a red hot quarterback in Ty Simpson. A lot of people have him as a Heisman favorite, or at least top two, top three, depending on what poll, who you ask, whatever the case may be. So you can check that mark. And we all know it takes damn good quarterback play to win a championship. I mean, I don't think there's any arguments there. So we check that box. Look at the running back room, and we've got talent, we've got players, but they haven't been consistent. We haven't consistently, established our running game. Is that on them? Not so much. It's more so on the offensive line, and we'll pull that up. I know that's a point of emphasis we're going to break down. I'll pull up some tape here in a minute, and we'll try to look at some of these running plays and why they did or did not have success. So that is one thing I will say about our offense. The lack of running game, right? That does concern me because I know it will show up at some point. Just like I said weeks ago, and then you see in the South Carolina game, the passing game wasn't there. And that's why you still need to be able to rely on that running game, especially on the road. Because, again, you're expected almost have some issues with the passing game at time. Like it's natural. You got to be able to have a running game. And the good news is we haven't abandoned it. We still go to it. We still attempt to run the football, but we're just not able to do it consistently. And I personally think that needs to get better in order for us to have more of a, more of a chance of having success down the road in some of these bigger matches. I think that will be important. Receiver room, and we know what we're getting out of them. Those guys are explosive, arguably the most talented room in the country, depending on who you ask. Hadn't really had issues with drops. South Carolina game, we saw some. I know Ryan's been struggling a little bit with that, but for the most part, man, these guys have been pretty solid, reliable, and have done a nice job. So overall, looking at the offense, Chase, personally, given our product, and I know, let me see if I think I had some of these stats pulled up. But again, I'm not too worried about this, but I know like points per game, stuff like that. There's some numbers there, but I want to say the numbers don't reflect how we really play. I mean, we dominate time of possession. We're having these long, sustainable drives. We're not just driving down and scoring a whole bunch of points. So if you look at like the number of points per game for our offense, it might not blow you away. But that's why I'm saying I don't get consumed by those numbers, right? Because I think when I did see those, and I could pull them up, I just don't want to waste too much time while I'm talking. I guess I'll do it while you're talking, Chase. But I would just say, based off what I see on tape, our offense, man, is in my opinion, we have plenty of what we need outside of the lack of running game to be a championship winning football team. The other part of that, which goes with the running game, is just the offensive line play. That's got to be better. The things that with the offense that need to be better for us to be that championship favorite or that championship football team that we want to be is more consistent offensive line play. Again, the word is more consistent. I'm not saying they're not a good group. I just don't think we're playing at like championship level in terms of offensive line play, right? If we were, the running game would be much more consistent and effective. And we also wouldn't be, having to shift around all these different guys and worrying about right tackle spot or having like, it's one thing, like I know I preach about having those chips and keeping backs in protection, which is great. That's a great solution. But preferably you don't want to have to over rely on that. I'm not saying it disrupts everything, but it does sometimes limit some of the concepts you might be trying to do offensively when you have to keep protection in to help, or you have to keep guys in to help the protection, right? So they just need to be more consistent. And I think if the offensive line can get to playing at that level on a consistent basis, I'll check that box for the offense. Because even with them being inconsistent, we see the effectiveness of this offense. I think that's just the biggest thing that's lacking. On the actually, no, I'll give you a second, Chase. Tell me about your opinions on the offense. You think offensively we're about at that championship standard? You think we still lack some, or what are your thoughts?
I think we still lack some. I don't think anybody at this point in the season is at that pedigree of a championship team. Bama is probably one of the favorites, but I think offensively, the offensive line is probably the big glaring like red flag. I think
Yeah.
too many times Ty's having to run for his life, create a lot of plays that could cause an injury, or you're kind of having an extended play where you just literally, if you would have chop blocked or if you would have saw defender coming on the left side, it would have negated a fumble or a loss of yardage, which stalls the offense. And now we're looking at a punt, which could have really helped a lot. But yeah, I feel like it's gotten a lot better since Florida State. I will say that. But as the season progresses, you need your offensive line to be a unit, because you're going to face better defenses, especially when you get into college football, the playoffs, excuse me. There's better defenses out there, Big Ten, ACC conferences like that. You have to be at your forefront, or you literally have to play from behind, which leads me to the running game. I'm shocked the running game hasn't popped off the way it has like last year. I thought Jam Miller was going to – I know he's had injuries, Christian, but I feel like he's having to play from behind, and he's having to like double check himself. You kind of see him kind of hesitate a little bit. He's having to do a lot more than what he did last year. I don't know if that's maybe confidence, maybe because is the injuries, but I just feel like he's not having that breakout year that a lot of people thought he's going to have his senior year, which I think it kind of speaks to the running game that I'm scared that as much as Ty's been playing really well, heck, he's a Heisman favorite. You don't need Ty to be this like the best quarterback out there. You need your running game to complement that, because Ty's going to get tired. He can't just be this Peyton Manning, just so many quarterbacks at once. He needs to play his game. That's why the running game is so essential, especially when if you're facing a defense that has a poor defensive line. You want to attack that, but you can't attack that if your running game is literally garbage. And I feel like that's something that needs to be fixed, because that'll put Alabama in a stratosphere I don't think any team can touch, especially in the SEC. And I think lastly, too, Christian, efficiency. I'm looking at the schedule. There's no way that Missouri should have been that close to Alabama, 27-24. I feel like they could have attacked their defense a lot better. I feel like there were just so many miscues, miscatches, a lot of false starts, just things that should have been cleaned up, especially since, let me say, September 13th against Wisconsin, because they're a really good offensive team, especially when they're on the ball rolling. They're just hard to stop. No one can stop the wide receiver group because how many talented players they have. Obviously, Ty Simpson is like a Heisman favorite right now. And then once that running game is up to speed, I'm looking at their schedule. LSU, they just lost their head coach. They're kind of in scrambles. Oklahoma had a tough time with Ole Miss. Eastern Illinois, that's omit. And then Auburn's defense is pretty good, but it's just not up to par with Alabama. So if Alabama can fix the efficiency issues, they will definitely, you can put this on tape, will be a championship team.
Yeah, and I was about to say, I think we all can agree. I mean, offensively, I think everybody's been really pleased for the most part. I mean, outside of things we mentioned. And I pulled up those numbers while you were giving us your thoughts, Chase. Thank you for that, by the way, man. Total offense. Alabama's coming at 53rd nationally, averaging 410 yards per game. And then it was 34th for scoring. Excuse me. Wow. We came in at 34th with 34 points per game as well. So, like I said, to me, I'm not too concerned about the numbers. I go off of what I see. I just was curious about where we stacked up, but I'm telling you guys, a consistent running game boosts all that stuff. I mean, it really does. And I said going into this year, you guys remember, we'll go as far as our offensive line takes us, and that still is the case. I mean, is it not? I mean, would you guys not agree? Ty's great, receivers are great, and I'll say this. I mean, running back room is solid. I saw somebody said that we missed Justice Haynes. I mean, yeah, we probably do miss him a little bit. I think he would add another element, and obviously we see how good he's playing with Michigan right now. But and I'll show you guys on tape. I think a lot of it does just stem from up front we got to be more consistent, and I stand by that. Offensive line play that can get better. The whole offense will improve, and I think we can easily check that box. We gotta let's do this. We'll combine break since we're already at 37, and we'll just jump to defense because I know a lot of people are curious about this. Can we check that box for defense? Chase, this one is tough for me, man. Because if you look at the numbers, right, which again, we glance at this is going to be our thing. We glance at the numbers, but we don't stare at the numbers. A lot of people stare at them. We just glance at them. You look at the numbers, Chase, Alabama's 24th nationally, right? Only giving up 300, and this is total defense, only giving up 312 yards per game. And I want to say scoring defense has actually been pretty good too. I'll pull up that number. I know we're probably around like the 20s, low 20s, really low 20s. Comparing that to the rest of the country, actually, no, we're at 18, and that's 20th nationally, right? So top 25 in both scoring defense and total defense, which is interesting because when you think about some of the chatter you hear, even from like the fans, when we're watching our defensive performances and you're seeing some of these explosive plays, it's easy to hyper focus on those, and that's why I go back to what I've been saying. I've been saying on my post game show. I think what's happened with our defense at this point is we got so used to early on getting so quickly frustrated with some of the explosive plays or like the bad drives early in the game that you forget the other 80% of the game that is actually really positive, that consists of cleaning up our rush defense, forcing turnovers, getting stops in the red zone, limiting points, holding these guys to field goals instead of 7 when you get in those spots. And it's just like the rule, if you think about it, like, yeah, we might have, 10%, 15%, maybe even 20% some games of some negatives. But that shouldn't discredit the whole 80% of what these guys are doing. And I've felt that way for the last probably 3-4 games now. Initially, after Florida State, I get it. Like you guys heard how I was critical. And again, it was more so based off of the lack of effort, lack of physicality, all of those things. That was what really ticked me off. And now is why I was like, oh, if we don't even have that stuff, I don't care who you have. Oh, we're as good as done. We're as good as beat. But since that all has been cleaned up and seen even like schematically, like I tip my hat to Kane Womack, man. Like even some of the little things that I kind of nitpicked, I feel like they've even as a coaching staff started to kind of weed out some things that they might have done earlier in the year. They're doing a little bit less of it, and they're leaning into what they actually do better, right? So I say all that to say this because I know a couple of you guys in the comments here, you said, well, just the defense. I don't know if we're a championship level defense just yet. I would say this: we're a lot closer to it than some may actually realize, in my opinion. And that's coming from me. You guys know I'm a defensive guy, and you guys know I call it how I see it. My dad might disagree with me. But what I'm seeing right now from our defense is I'm seeing a unit, man, that's finding ways to get big time stops, limiting points, and they've addressed the things that, were issues earlier on. The lack of pass rush, right? That was a genuine concern. We said that before the season started. We said that through the first few games when it still was low. And I'm sure the number still isn't great. However, when you watch the tape, again, that's why you can't get overinvested in the numbers. Like South Carolina, we might have sacked Lenoris maybe once, twice at most. I don't even have the number. I'm just going off the top of my head. But what I do know is we forced a lot of hurries. We forced a lot of pressures. We might not have finished on them, which is, fair. I mean, the dude is a tank. We knew it was going to be tough. But just stuff like that, man. We're forcing more pressure. We're generating pressure. Whether it's Yanze stepping up, doing his thing. Whether it's throwing Deontay Lawson down there and putting him at that what I call the buck position, where he's mugged over the guard, and we're working games. We're running Texas X's with him and different stunts. I'm seeing us bring a lot more pressure and blitzes. And I think defensively, man, we're playing some good ball. Now, I would be curious to see how we look going against. I don't know how many teams we face that. To me, I guess I'm not saying we haven't played. I'd have to look at the numbers, and I could be way off when I say this, but we played really well against Tennessee, who was arguably the best offense in the country. So that was good. But I just keep going back to Missouri, South Carolina. I mean, they were a little one dimensional. Georgia's solid, but still not like some OD offense. Excuse me. But still, I'm not discrediting our guys. I'm just thinking in my head, will we still see that same level play against a team like Ole Miss? Which some might say, well, yeah, sure, you did against Tennessee, but I don't know. I guess I still want to see us play against some more offense that I feel like are a little bit more balanced and explosive. I feel like a lot of the offense we played, I mean, whether it be Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Missouri, the ones I mentioned, I feel like they're a little one-dimensional, weren't as as much of a threat as some of these others could be, but we'll have to see. And I could just be, I guess, holding my expectations really high and just trying to push the the goalposts. But that being said, I don't know, Chase. I'm a lot higher on this defense than I definitely was weeks past. I guess I can say that. And to put a bow on it, if you had to ask me, could this defense help us win a national championship? I would say, I mean, the way they're playing right now, if they, like I mentioned, the offense, their issue, the defense, if we could limit explosive plays, right, which I feel like at least we did that against South Carolina a little bit better. It had the big one in Nick Harbor, happens. Couple long runs by Lenoris, that's going to happen. I think the biggest issue with defense right now is cut down on the explosive plays, continue to improve on pass rush, right? We've gotten better, but I still wanted to pick up. I mean, I want it to be even more disruptive. Turnovers have been great. I'm trying to think, man, off the top of my head, tackling has been, a little up and down. Tackling probably needs to be cleaned up a little bit. But other than that, man, I mean, I feel like defensive line play, a lot of people complain about that. I feel like that's been a lot better. I feel like guys just have a much better understanding of their role and how they fit, whether it's Tim Keenan, eating up blocks, LT Overton being very disruptive, being able to work across the defensive line, young guys coming up and stepping in. Hell, think about this, Chase. We've seen now at this point, South Carolina, we saw Keon Keeley get some reps, not just because of injuries, but he got various reps throughout the game, including the game-winning sack. Cavante Henry, they had him in some passing situations, letting him get after the quarterback. So obviously, they feel more comfortable about where he's at now. We'll see how that provides some, even more depth on that defensive line. You look at Jordan Renaud, who I think he might be doing the opposite. He was playing more earlier, and I think some of those other guys, whether it's Keon or hell, even 17, transfer from Florida. First couple of times, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, when I saw him in camp, I was like, I'm not too sure about this guy, but he's gotten a lot better and he's progressed. So what I'm getting at is the defensive line play has been better, and a lot of the depth pieces have really stepped up, and they're now, I guess, in a position where these coaches trust them enough to put them out there and get more reps, which is great. I feel like the tandem, or not tandem, but our trio of backers, man, their play has been much better. And now you're seeing 41. He stepped up so much. I mean, we're even seeing a lot of stuff where you got 4-3 looks, getting them all in the field. Justin Jefferson's playing good. Deontay Lawson, I mean, not perfect. I mean, I still think he's a little, maybe a little ginger from injury, maybe. I don't know. Maybe he's over. I don't know. But he's still looking better than the secondary. Damani's, struggling, but look at DJ Lee stepping up. You know what I mean? I mean, you see, Deshaun Jones struggling at times. Red Morgan comes in and he steps up. Trey Kirkpatrick's been getting some opportunities and been doing a good job. So I don't know. I say all that to say, I know I said a whole hell of a lot, and I'm about to send us to break. I do feel like our defense could get the job done. I do. As long as they continue to improve like they're doing right now, I think I have faith in this defense, man. Believe it or not, I do. And hopefully they can continue to get better, right? Because they're on the right track. That being said, let's hit a timeout. When we come back, we keep diving into this. Plus, again, top of the hour, we've got Clint Lamb. He'll be joining us via the phone lines. We'll talk with him. keep on rolling. Again, we push Tony to tomorrow, so Tony Brown will be joining us tomorrow. We'll have plenty of time with him, and it will be very entertaining. Trust me, I promise you that. And it's good that we have more time with him tomorrow because you guys will not want to miss that. You're going to enjoy this. That being said, quick timeout. When we come back, we'll get y'all's thoughts as well on this conversation right here on the Miller's Edge, Top 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Art Sport Experts. Quick timeout. We'll be right back.
Your flagship home of Alabama sports.
All right, what was y'all's thoughts on that? I've been talking so much, I didn't even get to really see y'all's comments, man. Our defense is battle tested to an extent. I still want to see what we look like playing against good drop back passer. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Ricky. I feel like that's a good way to put it. Like Tennessee, let me pull up our schedule because I don't want to be overlooking something. But that's kind of where I'm at in my head. I feel like Florida State didn't throw the football a whole bunch. Like, here's the schedule. Y'all probably know this better than me. I got a million things going on at the time. But even when they did, they actually did it pretty well. But again, that's week one was what it was. But you already know. I mean, dual threat quarterback, their biggest thing was they hit us on the ground. UL Monroe, let's just skip over that. Wisconsin could not throw the football. You get what I'm saying? You're going to see the theme I'm going with. Georgia, Gunnar Stoudemire, he's a really good player. Georgia's got arguably the best skill guys they've had in years. We did a good job in that game. So I'll give us a check mark there. Vanderbilt, going into the game, they were throwing the football better, right? But they still, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say one-dimensional completely, but borderline one-dimensional team, even though they've added more passing elements. Diego Pavia doing a little bit more. But still, again, not a true passing threat, in my opinion. Missouri, not a true passing threat. Tennessee, check. We did a great job against them. Number one scoring offense. We know they throw the football, right? They're an explosive offense. So, and then South Carolina, they don't throw the ball well. What I'm getting at is basically what Ricky was saying. What I'm curious about is if there are some other teams out there. I mean, I'm looking at our schedule. LSU, obviously, Garrett Nussmeier, you expect that. I mean, he's a passer for sure, but he just hasn't really looked great this year. Just very inconsistent. John Mateer, I just since he had that hand injury, I just don't think he's been as much as of a threat. Skip over Eastern Illinois, then obviously Auburn, man. Jackson Arnold is it's not a passing threat. So say we get matched up against a team like Julian Sam with a guy like him, right? And the weapons that he has. I mean, hell, even Indiana right now with Mendoza. How would something like that look? You know what I mean? I'm just curious. I'm not saying we don't handle that. I mean, we handled Tennessee, but that just would be curious to me. Yeah, I know they benched Jackson Arnold, but I didn't know if that's moving forward or if they just benched him last week. Home advantage and slight edge over LSU on turnovers. Yeah, that's the other thing, too. Once you get in the playoffs, well, I guess the first round you can have a home game, but just wonder, I mean, you think that Tennessee game looks a little bit different if it's at a neutral site? The only reason I bring that up is because, the playoffs, I mean, about neutral site stuff. I mean, we definitely had an advantage of Bryant Denny, right? LSU had no O-line. Yeah. Do you guys agree with me that low-key this year, college football, I'm not going to say I know everybody uses the term, and I've even used there's a lot more parity, but low-key, I almost just feel like there's teams are just not. I know we like to say, oh, there's not one dominant team, but I actually watch a lot of these teams. I think there's a lot of teams that just don't even have a full, complete team. A lot of them have a lot of issues. So what I'm getting at is maybe we're using the wrong word. Maybe we're saying, oh, there's parity, but maybe it's more so because of portal and all these other things. I mean, these teams just aren't very complete. So I feel like there's a lot of teams that just don't. I wouldn't say they don't impress me, but yeah, there's no dominant team. I mean, I guess that's just a simple way of putting it. But I feel like I just look at everybody and I'm like, bro, if not to be that guy, making it about me. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to compare something. I feel like if you take any Bama team from 2015 15, 2016 especially. I know we won in 15, but I'll argue. 2016 we had some freaking dudes. To like 2020. I mean, I don't think any of those teams will lose a damn game. I mean, I'm talking about like blowouts, like weekly. I just haven't been like blown away with a lot of these teams, man. Well, I think about Texas A&M. I think they're good. I mean, they struggled in that first half against LSU. They had some mistakes. I mean, threw a pick in the goal line red zone area. But then you look at them second half, and God, they look pretty damn good. Defense looked good. That quarterback's a really good player. I like Texas A&M. I think they're a legit contender in my opinion. At first, I wanted to see a little bit more. I mean, I know they had some close games, and whatnot, but I think Texas A&M is legit. Indiana's the only team alongside Ohio State that looks flawless. More so Indiana. Yeah, the only thing with those, Ricky, is I don't think there's battle tested. I would love to see if they played like our schedule, how flawless they would look. I do agree they look to be really good teams, but I want to see how they look when they match up against some of these other, tough, gritty teams. Seems that the complete teams like what Saban put together, I think, in the past. Yeah, I mean, shoot. I mean, there's some. I mean, again, like Ricky's. I mean, Ohio State to me. I mean, that damn defense is good. Offense looks good. I wouldn't say completely, but it just you don't see many. Christian, you mentioned in the past. There's not really any halftime adjustments. What does it look like? Sound like in the locker room at halftime on the defensive side of the ball? Well, I didn't say there's. Well, when I said there hadn't been halftime adjustments, I think I was saying what everybody else was saying, meaning like we're coming out, like we got hit on a number of things in the first half, and we're coming out and we're basically playing the same defense, showing the same looks, and we're still getting hit. So yeah, I did say that, but I just want to be clear. I wasn't saying like some of these people are just like, oh, we don't make any adjustments, but I'm not like paying attention to it. I would make that comment if we genuinely were just doing the same stuff or not doing anything to counter. But to answer your question, so you're not wrong. I did say that. I just don't want to get caught in the crowd because I know there's some people that just used to scream that like week in and week out, without really actually paying attention to it. But to answer your question, what does that look like? Well, for us, it looked like I'll literally walk you through it visually real quick. I got 30 seconds. We go into halftime. Or we go into the locker room at halftime. There's snacks on tables. Everybody's like nutritionists and everybody's yelling at us. Hydrate, all that stuff. Get all the stuff in fluids, this and that. We sit. There's the defensive side of the locker room, offensive side of the locker room, and defense with defense, offense with offense. Coaches, they would go talk, right? Like they would meet briefly for like just a few minutes, like defensive coaches, offensive coaches. Then they'd come out. Then they'd pull up like slides, like the people. So basically, what happened was, so the people in the booth, like in the top, they would be taking notes of like all the formations and everything, whatever. Then they come down. They're discussing the whole time. They come down the locker room. They have all this stuff drawn up, and they put it on like a projector for us. And literally, we would sit there, and like we'd go over it. Correct. So I'll explain when we come back. And welcome back into this Talking Tuesday edition of the Miller's Edge, Top 100.9, 1230 WTBC. I want to finish this answer real quick. So for our radio listeners, we got a whole bunch of activity in the chat, man. So if you guys want to come hang out, interact, it's at the Miller's Edge on YouTube. But there's a question about halftime adjustments and what that looked like, and just paint the picture real quick for us. What it looked like was we go in the locker room, everybody splits up, defense on one side, offense on one side. And literally the coaches, they go over some of those corrections and things that they wanted to, address with us or change. And then they come out and we'd have like projectors on each side. And basically they'd have, it's like drawn up, and it's probably different now, right? Stuff's a lot different, but literally they would show like, all right, the first half, they kept giving us this looks. Every time they went trips, FIB, they like to run this, right? We were playing this. So I'm just going to say X, Y, and Z because it's going to get too confusing. They might say, we've been playing X, right? And that's how we played it all week in practice. But then there's something that they notice, like, oh, but they're hitting us on this, or like obviously they found a vulnerability in that. They would say, instead of playing this, we're now going to do this. Those would be halftime adjustments. I know like some people like my dad or some of these other people make it seem like, oh, halftime adjustments don't exist. That's not true. Because I remember I got into it with him. I think even Peyton Manning made a comment like that. I disagree with that because I'm like, I don't know what y'all did, but I know what we did. We didn't make as many with the Panthers. Like when I was with the Panthers, it was almost maybe I agree with that. We weren't doing a whole bunch, but with Alabama, you best believe we were. And so they probably have like, I don't know, maybe up to like 8 different things we wanted to adjust or correct. And then we would go out and play it different in the second half. And best believe, I mean, it made a difference, right? Now, in terms of what these guys are doing, I mean, I'm sure it's probably similar, right? It's basically just like, for example, trying to think of a game where we just kept getting hit on something. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I don't know. Let's just make up a hypothetical. Say we kept getting hit on a certain route concept, right? They kept catching us in conflict. They basically might just change how they're playing and say, hey, we've been playing cover 3 with this look. We're going to switch and we're going to play, we're going to go to quarters, right? And then they might make it more specific, like, hey, normally our rules say, all right, Kate, you got this guy 10 yards up and in. Now we're going to bump it to, I don't know, 12. Because that's what these offenses will do. Like, they'll know, it's kind of crazy. It's literally like chess. They'll know like how like the defenses tend to play stuff, and they'll basically try to influence those rules, knowing that they can kind of get over. Like Sark, like when we played Texas in 2023, that's what he was doing. He knew that he could cause conflict because he coached here. He knew how Coach Saban's defense, like our philosophies and how we played certain things. So he did a really good job of like with his concepts, causing a lot of like muddy reads for our D backs, and that's why you saw a lot of mental errors and busts and things like that. But so I guess that was a long way of explaining that, but that's that's for me, my experience. It was always like that in depth. It definitely was a big deal. I know we got about we probably need to hit this timeout so we can go ahead and get Clint on here. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and hit this top of the hour break early. When we come back, we'll be joined by Clint Lamb of Cover Crimson on the phone lines. If you guys got any questions or anything you guys want us to hit on, you can always drop in the chat or in an app message. We'll do that. But that's what we got coming up next right here on the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. Quick timeout. We'll be right back.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG.
It's also great we rotate a lot of players so we can have them ready when injuries happen. I hated it at first, but I kind of see the point now. Yes, but I will say, like with offensive line, I'm not a huge fan of doing it right now. D line, I'm cool with, man. You can roll with as many D linemen as you want. I mean, like, yeah, there's chemistry amongst guys in the D line, but when you're talking about rotating guys in there for like pass rush and stuff, we also get reps at practice when we're doing like pass rush drill, working games together. So it's cool. But offensive line, man, you just got to be able to gel and have that continuity, man. I'm not a huge fan of 8 games in still rotating guys on the offensive line. I've never been a part of a team that just casually rotate offensive guys in like for different series. Injuries were one thing, but just doing it like this, I've never had that. Ask Clinton, does he see or have heard of Danny Lewis coming back healthy for this stretch? All right. Did you see DeBoer had to pull Russell from the South Carolina coach out of the game? I think this happened a couple times this year. Coaches have to keep recruiting their own players in season now. 100%, they definitely have to. And I'll be honest, there might be situations where a coach just has a relationship with a guy and he genuinely just wants to say what's up. But I wouldn't be shocked if other situations are guys, not necessarily planting seeds, but just trying to keep that relationship fresh for, you never know down the road. But I wouldn't completely rule out. Like, I mean, there's definitely probably because like when you get recruited, man, you build relationships with these guys. So, I mean, without a doubt, there's definitely been times where like I'm sure. Sorry, I'm trying to get this number sent over to Chase. Hold on 1 second. Get this to him. All right, Chase, I just sent that over to you. Sorry about that, man. But yeah, sometimes there's some genuine nature to it at times, I'm sure. I think it could be twofold: rotate on defense because it's a luxury, rotate on the O line because no one is clearly showing they're consistent. No, that's literally that's the case. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. It's only two guys not rotating on the offensive line, and that's why again. And I'm not going to keep bringing the whole thing up, but that's why again, like anybody say anything different about the offensive line, man, I just like that's crazy to me. Like literally the only two consistent spots, left tackle and center. Everybody, I mean, the left guard, we rotate guys. Right guard, we rotate guys. Right guard, now that Jaden's a little bit more healthy, I feel like there's been less rotating for sure, but still, right tackle and left guard. I mean, they're actively rotating. And I'm not saying it's like, oh, because we're doing that, it's the end of the world. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, I've never seen like the best units. Oh, wow. Like the best units, man. Like, and this other thing, typically teams that end up winning, I mean, they normally have offensive line that wins Joe Moore Award, stuff like that. You just don't see them rotate guys. I mean, like, it's just not very common. But not saying, again, I'm not saying it's like the worst thing ever. It's just that preferably you want to have a solid five guys that, and maybe a swing player, you know what I mean? Or like solid five, or you got like guys for jumbo package. You got that, when you go tackle over, like, jumbo or something like that, maybe. But I've never seen just like rotate lineman, O line like you do D line. But I mean, it is what it is. I guess you got to do what you got to do, man. I mean, I'm just trying to think. Like, I'll be honest. Like, right tackle is the main one. I mean, we all know that. Right tackle is like left guard, like Dewberry. I mean, I know he's not perfect, but I mean, if you just left Dewberry in there, just knowing, all right, he might have his moments, whatever. Like right tackle, like to me, they're genuinely rotating that right tackle because they just neither one of those two. It's no different than last year. Let's think about it. I don't even know why this is confusing for a lot of people. You literally had Wilkin, and you had what was his name? Who transferred? What was the guy? What was the guy that transferred? Elijah Pritchett, right? And he came in, and then because this is why people are so funny. He comes in the game against what was it, USF, and we score some touchdowns. Literally, they were like to the other side. They didn't even run to his side. And welcome back into this Talking Tuesday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. We're now joined by our good friend, Clint Lamb of Cover Crimson. And hopefully we got this planned and set up to start doing once a week. A lot of you guys were excited when we had Clint on last time and have been requesting him. So Clint was nice enough to hop on here, and hopefully we're going to start doing this some more. But Clint, welcome in, man. Happy Tuesday to you.
Yeah, happy Tuesday to you, man. How you doing today, brother?
Man, I can't complain, man. It's a Talking Tuesday here, so we've been talking about a whole bunch of just everything. We've been going everywhere and anywhere, and obviously with the bye week, man. Normally we're starting to prep for another team and looking ahead, but we're really just prepping for ourselves. So we've been hanging out, but I want to get your thoughts, man. South Carolina, we know that game was everything but a pretty win, but as me and my dad always say, man, a win is a win. Doesn't matter how you get it. South Carolina thought they had a chance. Their fans thought they were about to storm the field, but Ty Simpson and Ryan Grubb with his play caller, man, last minute, some really great stuff, found a way. Just give me your overall thoughts, man, on what you thought about that win over South Carolina last weekend.
Yeah, I can't really blame South Carolina fans based off of the way that the game had kind of been going as far as the offense's inability to move the football consistently. A lot of 3-and-outs, couldn't run the football. vertical passing game wasn't there. Tackles were struggling in pass protection. Interior guys were struggling as far as moving guys off the football in the run game and sustaining blocks. I mean, I can understand why they would start to get a little bit excited. You got to give South Carolina a lot of credit. Backs were against the wall. They came out swinging, and they played hard on both sides of the football. But one thing I'll say, this 2025 Alabama team, their ability to overcome adversity relative to the 2024 squad is night and day different. They can come out and get hit in the mouth. I know how things looked against Florida State in week one. That certainly was a lot more 2024 than what we've seen since, but it just feels like things have clicked for them on that front. And you never want to see a team, a team like Alabama, who's a top 5 team and expected to compete for a college football playoff spot and maybe even be a national title contender. You never want to see them struggle against a 3-4 football team. But I also think South Carolina is better than their record would indicate. They played a lot of good teams. And, they've had some things that didn't bounce their way. I don't think they obviously had deficiencies, but I just think that going into a hostile environment and stuff, Alabama's ability to respond to both sides of the football late really told me something as far as this team's ability to overcome adversity. I think that was probably, easily my biggest takeaway.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's easy to focus on, all the things that didn't go right. But when you do shift your perspective and you think about it, like, man, this team found a way. And you mentioned, those final drives and, the play calling and the execution, man, it was exactly what the doctor prescribed. And Alabama found a way. And I think that's the biggest takeaway when you shift your perspective is that, you're going to find yourselves in those situations. You also got to, think of it that, hey, man, that was a 5th game in a 5-game stretch. The previous 4 being all against ranked teams. You're beaten up, you're bruised, you go in a hostile environment, and you get the dub, which is most important. You mentioned the offensive line, and the inability to run the football effectively, Clint. I know a lot of folks have been asking us on here, and we've been talking about this, but I'm curious your perspective. What is leading to the inconsistencies with the lack of running game? For me, when I watched, I know people are saying, is it the running backs? Is it the offensive line? Is it the play design, like the specific runs? To me, I think it's been a little bit of a combination. I think most of it going on the lack of execution on a consistent level from the offensive line. When I watch the tape, there's times whether it's we're not getting great initial push up front, we're not climbing to the second level, at the right time, or we're not doing it the way it needs to be done on an execution standpoint. Then I think also Jam being banged up a little bit before he had that concussion, he kind of did provide a little bit of a spark, whether it was that veteran presence and that vision that he has, and just that dynamic ability. So I do think a little bit of that is included as well. But for you, Clint, because I know you also, you break the tape down. What have you seen, and why has Alabama struggled to run the football consistently?
Yeah, I feel like it's a combination of factors. I think they struggle with run stunts at times. I think that's been pretty apparent. I think as far as individual guys, it's not always the same 1 or 2 guys. I think it's pretty collectively across the board. Obviously, in the run blocking department, Caden Proctor's probably the least susceptible to getting beat. But as far as sustaining blocks individually, or, when you're trying to, double team or work up to the second level, just for whatever reason, there always seems to be one guy. And it's not just the offensive line. I think the tight ends have played a part. When you think about Danny Lewis and what he was supposed to be for this offense, being that bigger blocker, more of the inline type of guy. He was available for Georgia, Vanderbilt, and Missouri. And I don't think he's the sole reason that they've struggled to run the football when he's not been out there. But I do think his presence in those 3 games in particular in some ways aided the run game, because he was supposed to be your primary blocking tight end. Cuevas is obviously a really reliable pass catcher. I think Caleb Edwards is going to be a really good player in due time. But Danny Lewis, I do think they're missing him at least to an extent. But just last year, you had Robbie Utes, you had TJ Dupree. You had guys that could get guys blocked out there on the edges. And this year, nothing against Josh Cuevas, and I do think that he occasionally has some really good blocks. But I don't think he's either one of those 2 guys, and I think that's been a problem as well. So really, you can't pinpoint it to one thing, because I also think that the running backs, they're not always seeing it. It feels like a crease will be there, and for whatever reason, Jam won't press it when he needs to. I do think overall he does tend to show pretty good patience, so I think sometimes he's trying to let the block set up for him and sometimes that pays off and sometimes it doesn't. But just for one reason or another, they just can't seem to get the running game going consistently, and it has been a problem. I mean, I think Alabama's done a really good job of overcoming some of those issues, but to think that they're going to be able to continue to do what they've done over the last, really since the Florida State game, as far as the offensive success and being able to control the football and everything else, it's like on Saturday, they found themselves in a situation where, because of South Carolina's ability to take away what Alabama had done well up to that point, or at least to an extent, and then you also had guys dropping football and just really wasn't very characteristic of Alabama in the way that they played. I do think that you've got to be able to rely on a run game or be able to turn to a run game at least to some extent. And so in the bye week, hopefully that's something that continues to get fixed. I think Jaden Roberts on a second watch through, I thought he actually played pretty decently well. I thought Parker, he didn't have his best performance. Left guard, I think, was a pretty big problem. Wilkin Formby at right tackle, I don't think he had his best game either when it comes to the run blocking, but it is definitely a major problem and it's something that they need to continue to work on.
Yeah, I agree 100% with you. And I know I've started to get used to the extensions of the running game to try to help with that. And while I do think that it's smart, it's what you need to do, and I think Ryan Grubb is doing the right thing. I do agree that at some point you still have to find your niche there with the traditional running game. I talked about things even like at Georgia, wasn't really there majority of the game, but guess when it showed up and when you needed it most, when that 4-minute offense situation came out there, you had to get those first downs. Like there's critical moments in games where it really comes up, and if you don't have it there, it can come back to bite you. On the other side of the football, Clint, we were talking about this earlier on the show. One thing about this defense, man, it's very interesting when you ask people about their opinions, because on one aspect, you look at this defense and your brain can immediately shift to the explosives that we give up, some of the things that we haven't done necessarily well at times. But then if you really think about it, Clint, I mean, for about 80% of the time, I mean, this defense, I mean, they come up big in the red zone. They get stops when they need it. The pass rush has been better. There's a lot of complaints about defensive line play early in the year, but I feel like those guys have stepped up, and we're now seeing a lot more of the depth players get more opportunities. Obviously, the coaching staff is pleased with their developments, and the secondary has been solid. And we all know the turnovers that are forced. And last but not least, the linebackers. I think their play is definitely improved. But my question to you is, Clint, number one, I mean, what is your thoughts on the defense, where we stand right now? And two, do you think this defense is championship caliber, meaning it's where it needs to be for us to be a national championship team?
I think if you're continuing to get what they've got in most games from the offense, it is, it's enough to get the job done. I think they play winning football at the right time. I think in the critical moments, they step up and they make plays. There are moments in the game where you're watching and it just seems like there's an inability to stop the opposing offense. Like it seems like in some ways they might even at times be getting pushed around a little bit. But when you look at the end result and how things actually end up looking on the scoreboard and the stat sheet, I mean, it's actually pretty impressive. And their ability to generate turnovers in a timely manner when it really matters, I thought just as far as the way that the offense came out against South Carolina and then going out there and getting a pick six to try to really set the tone. In most cases, if the offense wasn't having such an off day, that would have been a great momentum grabber. So I thought that was big as far as starting the game. And then towards the end of the game, being able to get that turnover you talked about against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt was down in the red area and they were getting ready to score to go up multiple scores. You see a turnover, the pick six before halftime against Tennessee to completely turn that game upside down. Missouri, some timely turnovers. So it was, their ability to do that, I think, is really critical. I really think the individual pieces are really starting to come together. Like you were talking about the defensive front, great observation. I completely agree. As much criticism as the defensive line has gotten as far as some of the explosives and stuff, I think from a run fit perspective, whether it be sometimes second level, sometimes third level, sometimes the defensive line, when you think a team's gashing you in the run game, you just automatically assume it's the big guys up front. To me, that hadn't always been the case when it comes to the run game this year and really last year as well. But I think that the defensive line has really started to come on strong. I think London Simmons is playing good football. I think Kelby Collins is a transfer player. He's starting to play better football. Edric Hill is providing some solid contributions. James Smith would still like to see a little bit more consistency from him, but he's starting to make some impactful plays And then, of course, Tim Keenan is just an absolute oxygen there. I think he's playing great football right now. And then when you start talking about guys like Yanze Pierre, he's coming on strong, providing a little juice as a pass rusher, but also has really shown a lot of improvement as far as setting the edge against the run. It's having to play a lot of snaps right now. You really wish Clay Russaw was available to kind of split that workload with him. But at the same time, I just think really at all three levels, they're starting to play pretty good football, and they're starting to get more confident and comfortable in this Kane Womack defense. And I think Womack, to his credit, I mean, he's willing to change up the personnel packages a little bit more this year. I think he's, the mugging, the linebackers, he's not doing that quite as often, or at least I don't think that he is on the surface. And I thought that was kind of an issue early on in the season. So that's them kind of learning and understanding that on those early downs, doing that as often as they were, probably don't need to be doing that quite as much. I think the secondary is getting more comfortable. You got a lot of different bodies in there. And I think Dijon kind of being one of those players who still, some freshmen up and down, but at the same time, I mean, his impact has been pretty noticeable in my opinion. And he's got just a lot of raw ability. So the fact that, they're kind of getting that position to play a little bit more physical, more consistently, I think that's helped. So I actually really I thought their performance against South Carolina, we knew Lenore Sellers is a very strong runner. He's going to break a lot of tackles. I was kind of surprised at how many Alabama fans were surprised by that when they actually saw it, because that's all we talked about all week leading up to the game. But, I mean, I think overall they did a pretty good job of managing some of the other elements of South Carolina's offense, and they really made a lot of plays when things seemed to matter. So I actually think overall they played really good football on Saturday on the defensive side.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they were pretty much the highlight majority of the game in that matchup. And, to be fair, South Carolina, and I talked about a lot of their insufficiencies that they had offensively, but they still had, like you mentioned, Lenore Sellers, and breaking the most tackles out of any quarterback in the country. Nick Harbor is a track star, literally. I mean, he had to play there. And I thought they actually played better offensively than they had for most of the season. So I was impressed with our defense performance. Clint, we've got real quick, let me remind our listeners, we're joined by Clint Lamb of Cover Crimson, again, at Clint R. Lamb on X. You can follow him and keep up with all the good stuff that they do. Clint, we got a question here in the chat for you. They've asked, do you believe that Daniel Hill has solidified his position as RB2 after what we've seen? I mean, I'll just give my quick answer. I think it's pretty safe to say, I mean, he's kind of moved himself up. I know Kevin Riley was probably, the RB2 for majority of the time until we've seen a healthier Daniel Hill, which they mentioned. But with his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield, and I think him just getting more reps, I think he'll continue to progress. What are your thoughts on that, Clint?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And you could probably speak more. I don't know how often you're able to go to the practices and stuff, but just having that ability and seeing some of the behind the scenes stuff. People I talked to back in the spring spoke very highly of Daniel Hill. And it was kind of strange because once we got into fall camp and we were monitoring that situation, you didn't really hear quite the same amount of buzz. And Ryan Grubb had actually mentioned, I think, that they weren't getting the same oomph from him in fall camp they had gotten back in the spring. Obviously, probably some of that was injury related, and they were trying to get him back to 100%. But now that he is, I mean, I don't think there's any doubt. I mean, he's making plays. Now, granted, was he great in pass protection against South Carolina? No. But overall, especially tackle to tackle, when he's got to stick his nose in there and get somebody blocked, I mean, I think he does a pretty good job, and he's pretty big. He's pretty physical. Some of that, corner blitz, off the edge stuff kind of caused him a little bit of trouble. But overall, I think he's been solid in pass protection. Him as a receiver, I think he's a weapon. He's a much bigger weapon in that facet of the game than a lot of people give him credit for. He's a big, powerful guy. I think the contact balance is there. And, he was making some timely plays as a pass catcher. There wasn't a whole lot available as a runner. But I do think there was one run in particular that he performed pretty well on. And just really, when you start talking about the last few weeks, I think he's been a needed element to this Alabama backfield. Maybe not necessarily as a runner consistently yet, even though that's been there at times. But I think when you start talking about what Jam Miller could potentially provide once he gets, further removed from that concussion and starts recapturing what we were seeing flashes of when he returned from the collarbone issue, I think you've got a nice little 1-2 punch there at running back. Could they do some things better? Probably, but I think that's more so the guys up front and seeing some improvement, some continuity there.
Yeah, no, I agree. Then I think we can't forget about Kevin Riley too, who definitely provided a nice little spark when we needed to. I think the three of those guys, they all kind of offer something a little bit different. Jam's kind of like a blend of your perfect all around back, can pretty much do all three things. I mean, he's got good size to him, but good speed and agility as well. Kevin Riley being a smaller guy, I mean, he's definitely tough and not afraid to lower his shoulder. Then you got Daniel Hill, who's got the stature that you would be surprised with how athletic he is and his ability to catch a ball to the backfield. So yeah, I'm with you, man. I think those three guys are definitely solid, which leads me to this question that we have from Superfly. He says, being that we are halfway through the season, do you think, and I know we mentioned a little bit about the running game, but his question is, do you think we actually can get more consistent of a running game going moving forward, or is it we're probably stuck with what we have?
I do think that there's a chance for improvement. Before the South Carolina game, I would have told you they were trending in the right direction. I thought they showed flashes against Georgia. I thought it was much better against Vanderbilt. It was solid against Missouri. Tennessee, obviously, you had Jam as far as his availability and kind of coming off of that concussion. I think that impacted things. But then against South Carolina, that was really where it felt like everything took a step back. But at the same time, when you're talking about your pass catchers dropping passes, your quarterback seems a little bit off in the passing game. Like there were a bunch of elements of the offense that just felt like it was uncharacteristic relative to what we had come to expect from the offense. Maybe, the run game is the same thing. Maybe the offensive line didn't bring their A game either on that front. So while I do think there are reasons for concern because it has been a season-long problem as far as the consistency, I also think that, when I went and watched Jaden Roberts individually, do I think he played lights out and he was phenomenal? No, but I actually think that he was on an individual level. He was pretty good. I think Parker Brailsford struggled. I think left guard struggled. Obviously pass rush with the two tackles is going to continue to be a problem. It's just, some limitations they have athletically. But, I still think that Parker, you're going to get a good player in Parker Brailsford. We know that. This felt like a very uncharacteristic game from him. Left guard's probably my biggest question mark right now. We'll have to see how that continues to develop. But, I still think that overall there's still a chance for this run game. I don't think it's going to all of a sudden become dominant or this 50-50 complementary split to what they provide as far as the effectiveness of the passing game. But I think it can become more complementary, as long as they continue to try to fix some of these issues, because it seems like a lot of these issues are correctable, but at some point they've got to start getting this corrected.
Yeah, and I was going to say, you brought up Vanderbilt. Watching the tape there, the execution on that one was, solid. Like I was watching the offensive line specifically when I went back and watched that game, and man, it made sense why we had so much success on the ground. It started up front, and Jam had so many holes to hit. He was bursting for explosive run after run. So yeah, that definitely, if we could find a way to recreate that, I agree with you. I think it's definitely correctable. It's not necessarily just given personnel issue there. Clint, I got one last thing for you, man. I appreciate you so much for joining us, man. We're talking about the whole championship level thing. Obviously, Alabama's a top 4 team right now. A lot of people buying stock into Alabama. But if there's just a couple things that you had to say, during this bye week, Alabama needs to correct, get right, or to address in order to be that championship level football team, what would those things be? If I had to guess, probably we just talked about one of them, the running game for sure. But any other things that come to mind that you say this Alabama team needs to get better at if they want to win a national championship?
I do feel like the running game, getting that going and being on schedule a little bit more, it feels like they've found themselves in some third and mediums and third and longs a little bit too often in the last couple of games. And granted, against Tennessee, I thought they held up pretty well as far as the tackle play, but the tackles are who they are. You're not going to all of a sudden get better pass blocking from those guys. You might do some things to aid them or help them out, but I think they've already been doing that to an extent. I think it's more so just trying to protect those guys as much as possible by being, in more favorable down and distances more consistently. I know they really trust Ty in those kind of, third and mediums, third and longs, but I think, the tackle play is where it really was glaring to me on tape as far as against South Carolina. Just really didn't feel like they trusted those tackles a lot in those situations. So, would like to see improvement on that front. I think defensively, Obviously you want to limit the explosives on the ground. That's kind of been a problem. You saw some of that from Lenore Sellers, but it's more so been previous games. You would like to see them to continue to work on that, but I actually think that that's coming as, Tim Keenan gets, back in the groove of things, which I know he's been back for a little while now, but I think he's playing good football, and really across the first two levels, I think they're starting to get more, they're playing, a little bit better as far as playing as a unit. I think that should improve some. You'd like to see it improve as much as possible, because if you can limit the run game, I think the secondary is playing really good football right now, and you've got guys that can capitalize as far as, getting their hands on the football. So that would be something that I would look for. And just, the kicking game, you'd like to see a little bit more stability there. I know that, Connor Talty, he's actually been pretty good. I don't know what the numbers are.
Inside the 40 or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know if he's – I don't think – has he missed one inside the 40?
I don't think so. From what we had on the show yesterday, it's like he's perfect inside the 40 allegedly, which is kind of deceiving, I guess, because I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, and a lot of those misses when you talk about, you had the one against Florida State. Obviously, you've had one in the Georgia game, which was really ugly. He pulled it left really hard. Had a miss, I think, against Missouri. He's missed on the road a few times. I want to say 3 of his 4 misses have come on the road. But at the same time, I think punting is getting better. I think that Connor Talty, you'd like to see him continue to kind of become a reliable option, because you just don't want to be in a situation, if Alabama would have had to kick that field goal on Saturday, how confident would they have been in Connor Talty? He has been good under 40 yards, but you're also talking about a very hostile environment. They were showing him on the sideline. I'm not a body language reader, but it didn't feel like he looked super comfortable. I'm purely speculating. Maybe he was cool as a cucumber. I don't know, but it's just, that at some point Alabama's going to have to knock down some big kicks, because way too many of these games are way too close. And, Connor Talty is definitely going to be a very important element of this football team. So would love to see him continue to kind of, grow and develop on that front as well. But overall, I think that this team they're playing pretty well. It is mostly the run game, and you would of course love to see the vertical passing game kind of get on track as far as the timing and things like that. They got guys that can win downfield. I think Ty has enough arm strength to get him the football. So it's really just the timing and making some of that stuff more effective. If they can do that, this offense has a chance to be really lethal. But, once again, it's something that they got to continue to work on.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. I was laughing when you're talking about the kicking game, because I'll be careful, because I know some of my a lot of former teammates of mine listen to the show. And matter of fact, one of them was one of our kickers. And I'm just laughing because before him, though, we used to have those moments where we would just be on the sideline, and as soon as we'd have to send our unit out, like defense, we literally would be strapping our helmets on, not to go on kickoff, but to take over a series, because we already knew, we were like, yeah, we're about to go back out there. So no, it's hopefully he look. He's getting there. I think he's making some progress. But you're right, the body language wasn't great. And I think I even saw a meme or saw a tweet like Jeff Allen. He said Jeff Allen was just just like didn't look very, very solid himself. And I'm like, damn. And Jeff's probably one of the few people you normally you can rely on to be confident. I'm like, damn, if Jeff's looking a little uneasy, we might be in trouble. Clint, man, I appreciate it. It's been fun, man. I look forward to hopefully doing this on Tuesdays, getting around this time. I know our chat loves it, and I enjoy it. Before we let you go, man, tell everybody how they can keep up with all the good stuff that you're doing.
Yeah, you can find me at the Cover Crimson YouTube channel. We have a daily show over there. Also, podcast forum, search Cover Crimson Podcast Network on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, and then on Twitter at Clint R. Lamb. I'm over there also all the time sharing different things. But Christian, this has been a blast, man. I absolutely love what you're doing. I think you're one of the best in the business, and appreciate you having me on, man. I'm looking forward to doing this weekly if we can.
Yeah, absolutely, man. No, we're locked in, man. Tuesdays at noon, man. I love it, man. I'm excited about it. Clint, I appreciate you, brother. Thanks as always, man. We'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Good talking to you, Christian.
Yes, sir. You too, brother. Good deal. That was Clint Lamb, Cover Crimson. You heard it here. Good stuff, man. And like you said, man, Tuesdays at noon. So looking forward to that. On Talking Tuesdays, we'll be joined by Clint of Cover Crimson. Again, check them out. They do really good work, man. I've followed Clint for some time now, and he definitely does a really good job with his writing. He breaks stuff down. He does a lot of clips on Twitter as well, and he takes it serious. That's why I definitely respect a lot of the work that he does, because I mean he you can tell, man, he does his homework. He's deep into the tape, and he's putting it out for you left and right. I mean, it's nonstop action with him and company at Cover Crimson. So make sure you guys give them a follow, subscribe, and all that good stuff on their YouTube channel as well. And we got to hit a timeout. When we come back, we keep on rolling on this Talking Tuesday edition. We respond to what Clinton had to say. Plus, we'll keep diving into some stuff. We are, I think, open on the phone lines, 205-342-9904. We might have Tommy on there, but other than that, I think we're open. So if you guys want to jump in on this Talking Tuesday, feel free right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
Do you have cracks or potholes that are dragging down your property?
Big thanks to Superfly for that. I just mixed it up. Super chat. Yeah, Superfly, the super chat. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Yeah, no worries. That's why I was like, man, no, I still, that technically was a different question. Right? I just asked him about the running game, but no, your question was a little bit different. Do we see it getting better? Or yeah, no, that's no big deal. But no, he had a good point. I mean, it's kind of like what we were saying. I mean, it's really, if you look at it, it's different things each time. It's not always one specific thing. But like he mentioned, I think, I mean, the offensive line, I think, is the biggest one. And then you look at, are the backs hitting the right holes every time? There's probably times that they weren't perfect. 100%. I agree with that. And then even mentioned the tight ends. He's 100% right. I've seen it more so 81, which he's a freshman. And Cuevas a couple of times, which is fair, right? I mean, especially if you're going against a team that we always had a rule, like even as outside linebackers, the tight end should never block you. You heard how animated my dad was yesterday about Dylan Stewart getting blocked, but I think it was a tight end. Then there's some teams that, I mean, they have bigger ends, right? They play guys like LT Overton, who's 275, 280 in the 6 technique. I mean, you almost are just expecting your tight end. He's not winning that battle. So I mean, you're just hoping he can at least seal the guy off, do enough just to kind of just get him out of the position. You know what I mean? We call it position blocking. A lot of times tight ends are just position blocking. Tight ends don't want to block. They're not physical. There's a few guys out there. There's less than there used to be. Guys don't want to do it no more. You got guys like George Kittle. I mean, he's not trying to position block. He's just trying to get in your grill. All these other guys, that's why if you watch Travis Kelce and all these guys, they just want the football. They don't want anything to do with blocking. So he's got to try to find some guys. But I think Cuevas, I mean, he tries at least, though. He definitely tries. But matter of fact, speaking of offensive line, let me see. I thought we had. Wait, hold on. South Carolina. Wait, I see. Okay, so there's. Hold on. We're going to find this, guys. I'm trying to find the game from Saturday. If not, I'm trying to think of what. So I have South Carolina's offense, but that's not what we're looking for. What was another game that we struggled running the football? Just throw out a game this year. I'm trying to think. Vanderbilt was good. So I'm not going to do that one. Maybe Georgia? Did we run the ball? I can't remember how we ran the ball there. Or Missouri was okay. Let's just go to Tennessee. We struggled. Yeah, let's go to Tennessee. There we go. Thank you. Let's do let's pull up Tennessee. Let's see this Tennessee game. I think we pulled up some of it, but let's look up Tennessee. There we go. Perfect. Oh my God, man. Doing this again. I'll download it real quick. Wait, but how did it work last time when I downloaded it? How did I share it? I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll pull it up though. We'll talk. We'll talk about it when we get it going. Let's see. Dang, are we already back?
Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into this Talking Tuesday edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Support Experts. Just got done talking with Clint Lamb of Cover Crimson again. Big shout out to him. He's going to start joining us Tuesdays at noon. So make sure you guys pencil that in. I know you guys really enjoy having when he comes on here. And I love having him on here, man. It's just great stuff, great content. He does a really good job. So we're definitely appreciative of him. I can't talk anymore. I've lost my ability to talk. We're very appreciative of him joining us and looking forward to it Tuesdays at noon. Again, shout out to Clint and Cover Crimson. They do great work. Make sure you guys give them a follow. Go subscribe to their YouTube and all that good stuff. I know you guys already checked them out. They do a really good job and they're very popular. But if you haven't, man, make sure you guys do that right now. All right, we're going to go back to the phone lines. We've got Tommy up next. And then in the meantime, I'm also going to pull up some clips because we were talking about a lot about the running game. I know you guys are wondering kind of what exactly is happening. So we're going to take a look at that. If you guys want to watch at the Miller's Edge on our stream, I'll try to do that while we're talking with Tommy and others. And then when I get a chance to kind of add my thoughts, I'll do that. In worst case, we'll hang out for some overtime today and watch some more tape after we conclude doing radio. So just a heads up on kind of what we got planned over the next 30 minutes or so. That being said, to the phone lines to go. We got Tommy up next. Tommy, welcome in.
Hey, Tristan. How are you today?
Man, I'm great. Tommy, how are you?
Can't complain. Can't complain. I know the feeling about when you lose your voice. Yeah, I understand that very well. Yeah.
Well, you sound, I mean, like night and days difference. I mean, like literally.
Yeah. I had to do some tests and get some medicine, so I like it's working, so let's hope it works and I can be my adorable, charming self again.
Hey, man,
which is very hard to do.
You sound great. That's the biggest thing, man. You sound great, so it sounds like it's working, man. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, hey, I missed out on your father yesterday and Friday, but no, if we're gonna win a championship, we're gonna have to be able to run the ball. And I'm gonna say this again. I know y'all get tired of me saying it because, well, I'm an old man. I can say things over and over. Nobody cares. I said this 100 times. I'll say, hey, every game, it's a trap game, and it's a playoff game. Because everybody talking about, well, I'm only 1 by 3 at Georgia and Columbia and this and this. Well, it's SEC games. Okay? I expect tough games. I mean, look at the talent in this league. It's just unbelievable. I think the dilemma starting quarterback in the NFL that play for SEC schools out of 32 teams. That is a pretty phenomenal number, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I don't think no other conference has any more, but they might.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to see great defenses. They're going to see great quarterbacks every week. I'm going to tell the fans right now, I'm going to ride them back in. I'm going to bitch at them all I can. Excuse my French, but LSU is a wounded tiger. Don't overlook them.
No,
they
you
got
definitely don't.
Nothing to lose.
No, you definitely don't want to overlook them for sure. I do feel good the fact that we got 3 straight home games, which would be nice. I mean, we know when we play at home, man. I mean, shout out to the fans. I mean, I know I've challenged our fans a couple of times to bring that juice to our atmosphere to try to match some of these other ones that I've been to. And shoot, I mean, you got to tip your hat, man, and give credit where it's due. Fans have been bringing it.
Well, they need to bring it. They need to bring it. I don't like to look ahead, but they need to bring it the next 3 home games. And bring the LSU. I mean, I don't. LSU don't miss that quarterback hurt. I don't want to hear it. LSU is LSU in my book. Respect your opponent. Don't be fearful of them, but respect them and show the class they deserve and take care of business. Well, for us to be a championship team, we're going to have to do a lot better than running. That's the only thing that scares me. Because we're going to play against teams that have good defense and have good offense. And they can play good defense and control the ball, time of possession, like South Carolina did Saturday. We might come up short. That's 90% of football. if you can cut down the turnover penalty and possessions and play smart, sound football and win the kicking game, 95% of the time, you're going to win the football game. That's what Coach Stallings used to say, Coach Bryant. I'm pretty sure Coach Saban does the same thing to y'all when you play. So,
yeah, you got it.
The concept of football. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Tom.
The concept of football hasn't really changed. It might be more pass oriented right now, but the concept is scoring points and don't let other teams score points. Very simple.
Absolutely. No, I mean, you're right. And that was one thing that South Carolina was able to do. I mean, their time of possession, and it really was, if you look at it, the 3 and outs that we were having, the offense not being able to drive the football down the field, that was uncharacteristic. Like I talked about, man. If we played uncharacteristic, things could get interesting for sure. But I am convinced that, last game of a 5-game stretch before a bye week, hostile road game against a team with some good guys. But we're a little bit beat up and bruised up. I mean, we'll see how we come out of this bye week, which I'm excited about. But no, I agree with you. Getting the running game going is going to be huge. Finding ways to continue to clean up the protection and the guys up front, getting them as solid as possible, really is huge. Then defensively, just really just continue building on what we've been doing, limiting the big explosive plays, and just finding ways to continue to come up with stops when we need it most. And I think, like Clint said, I mean, that kicking game, can't forget about that one. You got to be able to trust in your kicker, because we all know here, I think we got a little spoiled with Will Riker, but we've had some times where, we haven't always been able to rely on the kicker, right? So that definitely is something to think about as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've been spoiling with kicker too. Van Tiffin, Philip Doe, Real Riker. There's a list, and I mean, yeah. I mean, I remember when we beat Georgia for the national championship on the last. I'm not having a stroke when what's the name missed. I mean, missed that chip shot field goal. I'm like, oh my Lord. But that's football.
Yeah, no, it definitely happens. No, it happens. That's what I was joking about. I mean, as a defense, you just got to know, all right, we got to be ready to go back out there and just, get a stop. But but again, it's interesting. I mean, inside 40, he's been solid, man. I think he just got to just, get a little more consistent. I think one time they had a bad snap too. I think one of the misses, I think DeBoer even mentioned snap, like the setup for wasn't great. I don't know. They got to get that down pat.
I know a lot of people complain like, well, he should have ran Alabama, line up and kicked the field goal, don't let South Carolina not get the ball back. But you know what? And that was me, and I was Bernard. I had 6 yards to the end zone, nobody touching me. I'm going to go for the touchdown. Because I heard the same crap somebody said with Jalen Hurts. He should have fell down on the 1-yard line when he scored the touchdown, Clemson. And Clemson came back and beat us for a minute 32 in the ball game. When you got it wide open, all you see is, I won't sit. I mean, that might be great football, but like y'all said yesterday, he could have fell on the one, and the next play, you can fumble the ball, or a bad snap, a bad hold.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to play like you play. You got to take the opportunity when you see it. And Alabama was fortunate enough to stop South Carolina for a sack in the ball game. I mean,
that's true.
Oh well,
that's true.
Not why they call it Monday. Not why they call it not Monday, but not why they call it Monday night quarterback. All those old jokes argue on Monday about what went wrong, but hey, everything worked out, so I'm happy.
That's what we all do at this point. Just sit here and just chat about what happened on Saturday. Even I've reached that point as well. Tommy, we appreciate you, man.
All right, buddy. Road time. Talk to you later. Tell your dad hi for me when you. All right,
absolutely.
Bye.
Will do, man. Take care. Good deal. We got to hit a timeout. Big thanks to 2-time Tommy joining us. When we come back, we'll keep on rolling. And I got the tape pulled up, so we'll start taking a look at this running game, see what we can come up with. Right here on the Miller's Edge, Top 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
Alabama football is back, and there's nothing more refreshing than an.
All right. Only thing is the way I got this shared, I can't like skip through like I want. I don't, or even speed it up. It's kind of making me nervous with this. We might need to look at a different game if that's cool. We might need to do a different game because this one I can only pull it up like this. Let me see if what was another game you guys said? I mean, what about? Let's see. I mean, let me see. You got Missouri. Bro, I know that. Wait, there's more. Where are all these at? Hold on, this ain't right. I know there's more games. Wisconsin, I don't remember running it well. Let's see if Wisconsin's on here. I mean, I got the Tennessee right there, but it's just the format is where I can't really like. I don't have as much control as I want. I can't just let it play, so I'm trying to just be safe because I don't want anything to happen. Let me see. I mean, I know for a fact I can do Missouri. But I feel like we already looked at that one. I mean, we got Wisconsin. Should we do Wisconsin? Jesus Christ, I'm all over the place. Wisconsin might be a good one. Let's do Wisconsin real quick. Let's see if we can. I know Jam wasn't in here during Wisconsin, but yeah, Missouri was pretty good. What game was it when Jam had 135? Was that Missouri or is that Vanderbilt? I think it was Vanderbilt, right? Vanderbilt, he had 135. I think Missouri probably had like 60 something, but he did get hurt. But you're right; those two games were solid. Let's do Wisconsin. I don't think Wisconsin was great, but let's see what we can come up with. All right, let's put this on here. Take this one off. Dang, I wanted to do that Tennessee one, but hey, man, just got to play it safe. Got to play it safe. See what they're in. Looks like they're in an underfront. Underfront, overfront, and three techniques. Two tight end side. This would be an underfront. 5-1-3-5. See the three techniques away. Trying to see what type of run we're doing because we're pulling the center. Looks like a pin and pull concept because you see they're doing pin and pull over here. But it looks like a pin and pull, but I'm trying to say maybe we need to go. I wish I had the other angle. Because I almost feel like on this one, it doesn't seem like it's blocked terrible. You know what I mean? Like I almost feel like he just needs to just hit this now. That one might be more of a on the back. Maybe we need to get a running back just to verify. But I mean, my eyes are telling me, at least from what I'm seeing right here. I mean, this is actually not blocked bad. I know you got a free runner right here, but I'd argue. I mean, if he's hitting this downhill, but obviously his vision. I think he's with this play, he's meant to hit it. Looks like he's trying to hit over here, obviously, with it being pin and pull, but he basically just kind of going nowhere. He's not really pressing it here or here. That one I might actually throw on the back in that situation. I actually would put that on the back personally. And welcome back into this Talking Tuesday edition of the Miller's Edge. Top 100.9, 1230 WTBC. All right. I think we got another call to get you on the phone line, so we'll do that. Plus, we got this tape pulled up. We'll keep looking at that, and what we'll do is we'll do overtime. So I'll close things out on the radio here in about 7 minutes or so, and then we'll keep the stream going if you guys want to hang out here and we'll watch some of this tape to see if we can diagnose some more about the running game. I mean, I can tell you what I've already seen watching other things. I don't think I've watched Wisconsin like this, so we'll do it together. All right, that being said, 205-342-9904 is the number to the phone line. That's funny. Somebody mentioned Bill Parcells. That was my dad's football coach in New York, man, for years. All right, we got Pat up next. Pat, welcome in.
Hey, I appreciate you taking my call. Undoubtedly, I owe you and your dad an apology. I haven't, and I'm not sure exactly what I'm supposed to have said, but Ragged Glory's sister sent me a text and chewed me out and told me to leave y'all alone. I've never said nothing bad about you. I've been playing with Corey a little bit in jest and fun with his predicting South Carolina to beat us, and he was almost right. It took a miracle in the chicken coop in order to save our butt by Mr. Lawson and Mr. Keenan. And but anyway, hey, if I owe your daddy an apology, then hey, I wish I knew what I was supposed to apologize for. But hey, because I love both of you.
I'll be honest with you.
I want to try to tell her that your daddy's a big guy, and he likes picking in fun too. And but hey, I was just happy to come away from there. I'd have been happy with a 1-point win. But that's why I didn't on the next show. I didn't pick Alabama to cover the spread, because you never know when you go into Bryce Stadium. Them people over there play different. When you go in there, you might go in there and just beat them down, and you might go in there and be in a dogfight.
Oh yeah, no, 100%, and that's exactly what we got, man. They gave us their best shot, and at the end of the day, we found a way to pull one out.
And the thing about it is, I mean, there's people that talk bad about Coach Shula, but hey, Coach Shula, wasn't doing the blocking and all that kind of stuff, and that he did everything he could to help them with it, and they almost did it, But almost is how you say hand grenades and horseshoes. But hey, I'm just happy to come out there with a win, because I really feel like that this team, just like you said. Now, how many times has AK Deer, you talk about running, how many times has AK Deer touched the ball? And I know we're bad as Alabama fans talking about how good the one is on the bench, but I think I know I saw him run the ball 10 yards one time.
Yeah, I know he had an opportunity or so earlier in the year in some of those trash minutes, but I think the thing is, Pat, I mean, these coaches see these guys every day, and I think one thing we know about these coaches, they will play whoever they feel like gives them the best shot. I mean, that's the reason why they rotate so many players. So that's right. Yeah. So I just choose to trust his coaching staff, where if he's not getting snaps right now, they feel like the other guys are just in a better position right now to rely on.
It's obvious. None of them are doing a great job. We've been fortunate and luckily that we've had this short yardage passing game that he's been able to pick apart with a little bit of running, because they still they're sticking with the run, and they got to. Just like, hey, Bernard broke away. What was that yard? 25 yards or better on that run. But it was a very good run, even though they didn't try to tackle him, and I still would have made that field goal kicker beat me. I wouldn't have tried, because they had Harbor. Harbor had beat us on one pass, but odds of that happening again were slim and none at all. What do you think?
Man, we talked about it for like 20 minutes yesterday, and so I'll keep it short today, because I know it can go either way. At the end of the day, I mean, these coaches, they have to make a decision, right? And in that moment in the football game, once South Carolina realized that Bernard was getting the first down, they were coached up to let him score, right? And because the decision you're making at that point is, we don't have any timeouts, right? Once he got past the first down marker, there he was, I want to say, like around the 20-yard line or so. At that point, it's like a 30-yard field goal. Our kicker, I know he hasn't had a game winner. I know he doesn't have much experience, but a 30-yard field goal in Alabama having 2 timeouts where they can run another play or two, right, to get the ball centered perfect for them and make it a 25 to 30-yard field goal. Look, that's almost a given, right? I'm not saying it is because we know you can miss it, but I think for them it's like, all right, we can just hope that he misses it, or we can just go ahead if they get the first down, let them score. And we got 30 seconds. We got Lenore Sellers, who we know can break all types of tackles. We got a 6'5" receiver that's a track star. Maybe we can make a return and get some big yardage and try our shot. I think it's really just tomato. At the end of the day, there's probably a 99% chance they lose the game regardless. But I think the decision they made total sense from a football perspective. It's just they would rather at least have some type of say in the game to end it. Like we at least get a chance with the football in our hands versus having to just watch Alabama run the clock down, tap it in there, and then we just have nothing to say about it.
I follow you. All right.
But I'll be honest with you, Pat. I'll be honest with you, Pat. The more we've talked about that scenario so much, I mean, like, I'm not saying you guys that, say you should have bet on the kicker missing. Look, the more I think about it, I'm like, you know what? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, honestly. It's just from a football perspective. I mean, it's just all about philosophy. Some people just say, hey, we got a quarterback and a receiver. Hey, give them a chance and we'll see what they can come up with. So, Pat, we appreciate you, brother.
You have a blessed day, sir. And then again, hey, if I owe your daddy an apology.
Oh man, no, you're good, brother. No, you're fine, man. It's all sports radio, man. We're just having fun talking ball. I think you're good. We appreciate that. All right, I'm gonna close things out via radio. I'm gonna hang out on the stream because we got the tape pulled up. We'll take a look at that for a little bit, break down this running game. Appreciate everybody. Big thanks to Clint Lamb of Cover Crimson joining us. And again, tomorrow we will be joined by Crazy Tony Brown right here on the Miller's Edge, probably about top of the hour as well. Looking forward to doing that as well. Right here on the Miller's Edge, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Art Support Experts. Time 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
You've been listening to the Miller's Edge, tackling sports daily.
Coming up.
All right. Let's see. Oh, wait. Hold on. What happened? All right. So we're going to break this tape down. Wait. He called your dad out on another show saying, isn't there a law against pastors smoking cigars? Lord, that's not funny. Take the plank out of your own eye before you judge another person. Oh, man. Oh, well, thank you, Julene, for taking this back, man. Yeah, well, that's probably why I wasn't sure then. With all due respect, I don't really listen to a bunch of other shows often. I'm normally doing some other stuff, but yeah, I mean, everybody's got opinions. It's all good. No big deal. And my dad's aware of that. He understands that some people are going to have their thoughts on that for sure. And then he just, that's up for him if he doesn't mind sharing that he enjoys cigars. So that being said, thank you, Julene, for that. I appreciate that. It's very sweet of you, always having our backs. We appreciate that. Let's jump back into this tape right here. All right. So right here, this would be an under front, right? And the reason I'm just pointing some of this stuff out just so you guys can help you guys kind of pick up some of this. So under versus over. So basically the easiest way to remember this, under, you're going to have the, oh wait, I'm sorry. This is over front. I'm tripping. I'm messing myself up. Over, basically the 3 technique will be to the tight end and the over front. And away, and then in under, he'll be away. If that makes sense. I'm confusing myself at this point. But yes, this would be an over front. You got the tight end here, strong side, and you got a 3 technique over here. Sorry. I'm a preacher's daughter and a health coach, and I still enjoy my cigars. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's all. I don't know. I didn't know if maybe there is a law about that or something. I don't know. I just kind of stay in my lane. All right. So we got an over front right here from Wisconsin. We're showing like a jet action right here with Bernard's misdirection run play, taking one way, going back the other. get great knockback right here on 95. I mean, we knock him off the ball. I wish I had it where I could just jump back without going too far back. Yeah, so you gotta they end up triple teaming this guy. See, like to me, something don't seem right on this. Right. Again, I'm not gonna sit here. I know ball, but I'm not gonna act like I'm an O-line expert or running back expert. I'll go off of what I know about the positions given my experience playing. So just probably preface by saying that I know some people they know about every single thing. I'm not gonna sit there and do that. I do know a good bit about it, but I would be curious to get a coach or somebody to tell me. All I know is in my years of playing, I've never heard of us triple teaming one one guy like that on D. Like that's something's not right on that, especially leaving this guy. Somebody at the bare minimum should be climbing the four. So that would be the lack of execution on the offensive line, right? I mean, because we don't even have a chance to get it going. Four is literally meeting him at the line of scrimmage. Regardless of exactly how it's supposed to be, I can just tell you we're wrong right here, right? It looks like initially they're going for a combo block, and I know he's Brailsford. It looks like they're initially kind of like on a combo as well, and he's already looking to climb up. And maybe I think he's just trying to just help even get an extra, you know what I mean? Just hip check that guy as he's climbing. That's why it ends up turning into what looks like a triple team. But see this? See your 75's eyes is? 75 is supposed to climb up to that. 75 should be climbing up to 4 right there. But we end up getting all sandwiched in there. It's a mess. Back has nowhere to go. Bernard at least gets on his guy. If you at least climb up right there, I mean, you still got some free hitters here, but at least you got a chance to make a guy miss, which, again, you're never going to have some perfect scheme where everybody's accounted for. Normally, the safety's always – if you can get to that level and have a one-on-one there, you normally are trusting your back to make that guy miss regardless, right? That's typically how it works. Unless you just have, like, supreme blocking down the field receivers, and they're also not comboing, but climbing up the guys, right? Seems like our guards are one step slow. This is what I was talking about earlier about like the timing of getting there, right? Like it should like and part of it too is this it's 15 backer or edge guy, whatever. But the tight end, I mean, he's crashing down on this guy, right? Which I mean that's his job here, but he ends up basically it ends up getting clogged up because the tight end's blocking this guy down there. Wilkin gets sandwiched in here, he can't climb up. So I mean it's just it's like a traffic wreck, right? So, I mean, that one's going to be failed execution right there. There's just nowhere to go with football, right? Ends up being no gain on the play. All right, let's see what we got here. I can tell you we got people in the backfield like ASAP. Let's see. Sorry, we can't tell. I'm like terrified of us holding the clips too long. All right, so we got a pony look. When I say pony, that's a two-back set. Clearly, Jeremy Bernard is one of those guys. Another thing I really like about what Ryan Grubb does, I talked about this in that South Carolina game, but this is what makes Jeremy Bernard he's so important to this offense. Because I'm going to give you guys a defensive perspective here. When you have skill guys line up in the backfield, I mean, yes, your red flags are going off, but the way we just get to so many different things and it makes it difficult because as a defense, man, when you see this, I mean, like, you know something's up or it could be up or he could be a decoy, but he also does get the ball. I mean, it just allows you to do so many different things offensively and it causes so many wrinkles for a defense because having a skill guy in the backfield, sometimes that triggers things like different checks and whatnot defensively. So it really just kind of throws a wrench in the gears of a defense, right? When you see stuff like this because it's unorthodox. You're expecting something here. It ends up being nothing, right? It ends up just being they're just running the football. But still, as we saw against South Carolina, you're bringing him in, shifting him, then he's starting one way, breaking out to the flat, man. I mean, Ryan Grubb definitely knows how to stress a defense, but here it ends up just being a decoy, right? Because we end up running the ball. Send a guy in motion as well. All the window dressing eye candy, man, that Ryan Grubb does is definitely tough as a defense, but it's kind of useless, though, when you have stuff like this. You got so much going on with the window dress, and these guys are just penetrating, man. And you're not getting anything up front. It ends up just being useless. See who ends up back there. But it also looks like Wisconsin's blitzing right here. right? So, I mean, they also, to be fair, could have just had a good call. But this looks like some of those concepts we saw a lot at Washington. They like to pull their center a lot, which is it's important to have a guy like Brailsford. Just trying to see where this is supposed to go. It honestly might have just been a good call by yeah, because they're sending this guy, their nickel or safety, whoever this is. But even so, but he's not the one that makes the tackle. The ends is unblocked, which is the design of the play, I'm assuming. But yeah, it's evident that it's that unless Bernard is supposed to just go ahead and crack this end right here, which he doesn't. He avoids. He takes this blitzer, which if I had to guess, they probably wanted Bernard probably should take this guy first. I know there's a blitzer coming, but this is the closest threat. It kind of reminds me of like when the tackle's in pass pro, right? You got 2 to 3 seconds. You're good. Okay, all right. I'm gonna trust you, Dwight. I'm gonna trust you, man. We got a couple seconds per clip. It's like in pass pro when you have a blitz, right? They're always coached to take the nearest threat. So if you have these two guys coming, so say this was a pass play, and Wilkin was just getting his kick step, right? You always take the first threat. So it'd be like this guy. I think this is very similar here, where Bernard should go ahead and just pick up this edge guy. Even though I think the play design is a lot of times you leave an edge guy free half the time. So maybe that's what he was thinking. That's why he goes here. But in my head, it just makes the most sense. I mean, look at this. I mean, this dude, he's literally at the same. I mean, like normally you're talking about like a edge guy having to chase a play down. I mean, there's no chasing this play down. I mean, this dude's just like on the ball carrier the whole time. And I don't know if it's designed to get cut back or what, but if it's not, I mean, we're just all over the place. So that was kind of a dud. Let me go back to that other angle. Yeah, I mean, I think this is one of those plays where I mean, we got all this action going on, all these pullers, and they're also bringing guys, and it's just like we're just running past people, right? I mean, even this guy just gets ran by. We're literally just running by guys without blocking them. And that's a problem. So I mean, that's bad execution. Oh, my bad, guys. Let me make it bigger. Let me make that bigger. All right. Let's not hold up too long. Pass play. What we got here. Another pin and pull type play, but they're getting to the toss with it. Get this guy a pin. Do we miss on the crack block? He's supposed to crack this guy. Gets just enough. Vandermark gets around for his block, but I don't know how much we gained there, but it's something. We'll take it. I feel like we run the ball pretty well on the perimeter, man. Again, if you go back and watch Washington in 23, they used to love those pin and pull plays, a lot of pulling guys, toss action. They do a lot of that. I want to see more of these like runs that hit inside, like these traditional runs. Here we go. Spreading guys out, motion back in. I mean, you clearly see where he's going. Never mind. Influence block. Avoids him. Got the pull with the kick out. Wait, who's that? So Cuevas kind of whiffs on his guy, 0. Right? Cuevas whiffs. I mean, if Cuevas doesn't whiff, I mean, I know he wasn't going to be able to hit that hole anyway, though. See, to me, still some just don't seem right. I mean, like, look where Wilkins at. I mean, he's still trying to chase this down here. I feel like he needs to be climbing already. See what I'm saying? Like, to me, I don't think this is right by the right tackle. Maybe initially, but what I'm saying. I think it's just little stuff like that, man. Like, got 2 combo blocks. You see what I'm talking about? Just little things like this, like him not holding on to his block. Parker just, you know what I mean? Like, don't quite get there. It's like he's there, but a bad angle. Who was this, Dewberry? Dude does a nice job shedding off of his block. He throws Dewberry. Parker doesn't quite get there. There's nowhere to go. You see what I'm saying? Guy's not holding and sustaining blocks. Anything inside we struggle when we hit the edges is a little. Yeah, that's what I was saying, man. Like, if you really watch, it's between the tackles where we tend to struggle. I mean, all that pin and pull action when we hit the perimeter is typically a lot better. But this is what I mean by just little details, right? Like, initially they've got the right idea. And I get it. That's a hard angle to take, right? I mean, look at his angle trying to get to this guy, but you got to find a way, right? I mean, you got to get him out the way, and you can't get tossed like that. Like Dewberry, I mean, you got to hold that block. Same with Vandermark. I mean, but shout out to Wisconsin. I mean, they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're shedding blocks. I mean, that's how you play defense. But you just got to be able to sustain those better. Of course, we hit the perimeter, we got success. Was that a run? No. Let me see. Hold on, that took a minute to get to me. Same thing. It just kind of looks like duo right doubles climbing up. What is he doing? That's interesting. You see Parker, or not Parker, you see Proctor. They crashed in that hip and just completely does a spin, doubling back. It's interesting. Let's look at the right side, though. Good double team by these two guys. Parker takes over. He should now be climbing. He doesn't climb. Ends up being fine because Zero buries himself, but he should be climbing. So I'm positive. Toss. I'm going to skip the toss plays because I'm not really worried about those. Let's see more of these traditional runs. Which now I think about it, we haven't seen like damn, we just throw the ball a whole hell of a lot in this game. That was Ryan's screen, and I see why. Yeah, at this point, we ain't even really trying to run the football. That's crazy. I didn't even realize. I mean, how many plays has it been? Oh, here we go. So they're in what we call a tight front, 4-eye, 0, 4-eye. Got 2 edge guys. Just guys all over the place, man. We don't get any push. To me, it looks like bad footwork too. One thing I do know is, I mean, before you climb in, you got to make sure you get these guys secure, which, I mean, I guess he probably feels he does. But again, it's the same thing. Everybody gets it's a traffic jam. Struggling to climb, it seems. Yeah, that's what I was saying. To me, that's what a lot of it comes down to is that or we're seeing here. You know what I mean? Just turns into a traffic jam. Let's go to the other angle. We're getting no knockback, right? Now, this is an example of us getting no push, right? I mean, look at they're playing on our sideline of scrimmage. The ball is on the 40. Well, the 41, right? Look where everybody ends up, right? We're not getting any knockback here, and we had doubles up front. That should not happen. You should not be playing behind the line of scrimmage and you're getting doubles like that. I mean, there's nowhere to go, right? So we should have been counting this, right? This is on the offensive line, and we'll give credit to Wisconsin too. I mean, they do a nice job of blowing everything up there. It's a nice job by Jam here. Wait, is that Jam? That's 20. That's Washington. Good job by Jaden. Going around getting for us. Good. Now, I don't know what the back is doing here. I mean, I would just get downhill, man. Like, just burst downhill. Where are we going? I don't understand what we got going there. All right, let's do a few more. I think you guys are kind of getting the picture. Was it screen? Let's see. All right, Ty, all these claps, man. You're going to get us in trouble, bro. Snap the ball. This inside zone right here. Like, this is a good job, right? Now, they help us out here because they're on a see how they're kind of stunting across. I mean, he's kind of taking himself out. But good job by our line and tight end here. Cuevas does a nice job. That's what you want right there. Good hole there. Good play by that guy. All right, we'll do one more. Damn, we hardly ran the ball in this game. I guess Jam was still out at this point, right? Bro, y'all gonna get us in trouble taking forever. Come on, man. We got our doubles. Good job climbing. Good job climbing. Parker, you got to hold that. What happened with Proctor? It's kind of a lazy effort, man. You got to hold that block. Robert's been doing a good job. I don't know why. Well, he was banged up too for a minute. Yeah, we throw so much, as you guys can see. I mean, we'll just finish it out. We only got a couple more plays anyway. I mean, damn, I would say if I whole tape was damn throwing the football. Now we got, is that Oleus Allen in there, right guard? I mean, this picture, I mean, you got to make sure you see. All right, good job. But Oleus, man, it's what, like Clint was saying, it's always kind of one guy. I mean, here, perfect picture, right? These guys end up accounted for, but this guy pulling, man, I mean, he kind of messed everything up, even though 4 pretty much would have been in position anyway. But so So I think we had maybe a couple with the backs, you know what I mean, not hitting the right hole or not pressing like they should. But as you guys saw, I mean, literally the rest of the tape, all of it was several times us just getting blown up, no push. Other times, lack of execution, not climbing. So pretty much what we've been saying, right? And I had not watched the offensive line in this game, so we watched that for the first time together. I watched other games, but here's AKD. I know everybody was talking about him. Here he is, right here. He's a backup, so I'm not really misdirection. Okay, now hold on. Now, I mean, I guess I feel him a little bit, man. I mean, he got some good senses. I mean, I don't know though. I don't know, man. Stuff like that. That might be why he's a little patient for they put him out there. That was kind of. I mean, the play is supposed to hit over here. It's not supposed to bend all the way back here like he just did. I feel like you probably would have had a better chance just making this guy miss than trying to bend it all the way back like that. That was a little. All right, there we go. Yeah. I mean, so obviously, I think we can come to the conclusion on that one. They got to be more consistent up front. I mean, back's got to be a little bit better too. But I think if we had to label it, I think I would probably keep the same order that we had initially. Right, better execution up front. Backs could be a little bit better. Pressing and reading, and I think that's pretty much about what we got. Now, granted, that was way back, week whatever. D shed squeeze, yeah. Another thing, sustaining those blocks, right? That's why I'm glad we could watch that, because now you guys have a better idea of exactly. It's not just there's so many different things. Like the guys might be there, but then they end up getting, just shedded too easily. They get blown up initially. We got one guy, he goes to pull, he's on his guy, but a bad angle. I mean, it's a bunch of just little details, man. That's what it comes down to. Football is a game of inches, literally, man. I mean, it's a bunch of small details. And we saw that right there. So, all right, I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta get some lunch, man. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. A lot to fix. Yeah, I mean, but again, remember that was like week 3 or 4, so they're gonna clean a lot of that stuff up if it's not already cleaned up. Well, obviously it's not perfect, but you get what I'm saying. They'll keep cleaning that stuff up. And I thought, again, if I put the Vanderbilt, I need to put Vanderbilt up there tomorrow again. I know we did that once, but just so you can see the difference, because Vanderbilt, when we did have success, I mean, it was like night and days difference. I would do it now, but I know a lot of you guys probably got to run too. But all right, I'm gonna get out of here again. Tomorrow we got Tony Brown joining us about top of the hour. That'll be exciting. Make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And we're going to keep on rolling like we always do right here on the Miller's Edge Top 100.9, 1230 WTBC. And here, obviously, if you guys have it, man, before you leave, man, drop a like, all that good stuff, subscribe. And you already know the drill. We'll see you guys tomorrow.